What's up, everybody? This is Anthony Mitchell, host of the Endzone Club podcast, where we have conversations that are wrapped around things we know now, we wish we knew when we were younger. And our whole purpose is designed to push kids from walking in their potential to fulfilling their purpose. So how do we do that? How do we push kids from walking in potential, fulfilling purpose? What are these conversations we're having wrapped around things we know now? Listen, one of the biggest things that we have found out in order to push kids from walking in potential is to give them the necessary tools necessary to find purpose, which is, i.e., a word I like to call equip. Equipping means I'm giving you the necessary tools or helping you to discover first and foremost what is in your inventory that God is giving you to guide you through life as a successful and productive adult and individual. Everybody's talents aren't the same. Everybody's gifts, callings, abilities are not the same. But one thing we do here at this platform, what is it called? The Endzone Club, is we're pushing you to not become comfortable in the comfortability of mediocrity, but to get out, find out who you are. Do this in a positive way. You can learn a lot if you heed words of wisdom and all that good stuff. But anyway, my name is Anthony Mitchell. For those who are new to our platform, have never ever tuned in before, I thank you for taking the time out to engage more than just listen. Because at this platform, we have, in many different capacities, I have been in operation in ministry since around 98. And along the course of time, we have done a lot, have traveled a lot of places, seen a lot of things, have worked with a lot of organizations from Big Brother, Big Sister, United Way, Skills USA, Delta Epsilon Chi, Phi Theta Kappa, even to our local youth ministry. My wife and I, we serve as youth pastors in that regards here in Tupelo, Mississippi. So one thing about us is we're very, very intuitive to what our community needs, but most importantly, what our kids need. And just even this summer, this summer is going to be very unique. For those, again, who don't know who I am, I serve also in the U.S. military. That's all I'll say on that. And if you're engaging or you're paying attention, there's a lot going on in the world around us, a lot of which I know very little about. And like many of you, I'm finding out every day as the world turns. But as I am finding things out, I am encouraged to know that whether or not I am here or not, that the ministry that God has given us will go on. I thank God that I have a great wife who supports, works, and also pushes in her own regard. She has her other platforms that she does, and we bring it all together and under one great big umbrella. But she can't do it alone. My family can't do it alone. My kids can't do it alone. So here, this special vlogosphere Endzone Club podcast edition, I really just wanted to get in front of the camera and talk with you guys about the purpose that we are seeking support. This summer, we're going to do possibly a 2-day action-filled event for the kids in Northeast Mississippi, which, if all things go right, as always, we've been able to draw kids from as far away as like Memphis, Atlanta. We've reached up into Missouri and other places, and we draw kids. But this year, we're going to start off on June the 12th. We're going to have a 2-day event that's going to be capped with a basketball camp. So beginning on June the 12th, we're looking at maybe partnering with some of the outreach organizations that provide guidance.
Is this registration up until day of the camp? Or?
Some developmental issues behaviorally. Those are the ones we want to reach. The ones that might be falling through the cracks, that maybe statistically the direction they're going may not end up being much. Those are the ones we want to talk to. I think sometimes we put together these great events and these great opportunities to reach all of the easy to reach ones, but sometimes we have to reach back, and give to those that have great potential, but maybe they're a little misguided. God loves them too, and we have to remember that. So we're reaching out to them. We want to do a live 90-minute roundtable session with some of these kids and extend beyond the four walls of sports. A lot of what we do during the summer does surround and it's encompassed by sports. However, We want to talk about life. We want to engage. I want to know, I want to get to the root of what's going on. Everybody's situation is the same. But if I can hear about your story and then feel like I can now, from based upon what I've heard, if we can just have this real engagement where we let you know you matter, where we let you know that it's not over, where we let you know that you now have a great opportunity to do some great things, but it's just sometimes just on our behalf, those of us that have walked through life already, so to speak, those of us that have already made mistakes and have made bad choices and have lived to see another day, it pays for kids to know that you may see the image on the walls, the pictures that are hanging, but you don't know the full story about how or my journey or the steps I took to get here. Everything wasn't a straight path for us. So we're looking at, with that approach, June the 12th, hosting an outreach opportunity with the ones that time has forgotten. And then, of course, with our flagship brand, one of the big things we do during the summer, extending into the 12th, is that the 13th, that morning, hosting our 11th free NFL youth camp. I'm excited about this one, and then I'm not. Last year, I told myself, this is the very last one. And this is what's ironic about support. I was pretty content never doing this again. But somehow, someone decided to start donating early to our football camp. And before I realized, this person had made a substantial donation to our camp, and I was just at a position that I was like, oh my gosh, now I definitely have to do it. So with that said, I'm thankful for the support, but this year I'm just making a plea. I'd like people I'd like somebody to take it on to sponsor our t-shirts and just make t-shirts and surprise me with the design. I'm looking for people to just reach out and donate, vans, transportation. I'm putting it out because I believe sometimes you have to make your prayer and supplication, your request known, and you lift it up before God, and somehow it's planted. Maybe a bird of the air hears it and makes sure it gets where it's got to go. But these are things I desire. I desire this year for like NFL alumni veterans that stumble upon this video and say, you know what, I want to go donate and give time and give back to the kids. I'm hoping that some of those, now it may sound like I'm rambling, but I'm doing something here in the spiritual realm. Sowing seeds, I'm speaking life. I believe life and death is in the power of the tongue. And a lot of times things don't manifest because we don't know how to shape our world with our words. So that's what I'm doing now. It may sound like I'm rambling, but I'm putting this out there because 6 months from now, I want somebody to revisit this video and ask how much of it actually happened. That's my faith in action. So with that said, I'm looking for NFL alumni to watch this video, stumble upon it some way or another, and maybe one or two just come forward and say, hey, I want to donate time. I want to donate back resources to the kids in order to be effective. Because the platform we've done, again, 11 years of NFL football camping, it's not about football. There have been a lot of kids that have passed through our walls that wouldn't recognize me tomorrow if they saw me in Walmart. That's the reality. It's never been about recognition. And there are some kids that never picked up a football a day again after the camp. However, if they remember the words of life that we spoke to them to help prepare them to become productive citizens, I'll feel like it was not done in vain. In addition, I'm believing that everything that we set to do, from having videographers this year, I want to have at least 2 or 3 videographers filming the whole moment, photographers that are great at action shots, so many pictures that we're able to flood the internet with that are great and high quality. These are just things I'm putting out there. I'm looking for even vendors to come in and feed the kids. I'm looking for, fun. I'm looking for gaming trucks. These are all things I need. But however, all of this is made possible through supporters. So in this particular episode, yes, I will provide in the description heading some links that you can click on that will drive you into the direction of where you can help. And the reason I'm doing this video now in the middle of March for a June event is because I don't know what kind of military taskings lay ahead. Right now, there's nothing out there for me, and I am excited. But just as fast as things stay the same, things can change. So that's why I'm trying to get ahead. I'm being, what's the word? Proverbs talked about going to the ant, considering her ways. In the wintertime she builds so that in the in the summertime she builds, she stores so that into winter she has food. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to be proactive on what the future may or may not bring. And even if it doesn't bring, at least I could say, hey, we did it early. Maybe I could relax more to focus on other things, i.e. wife, family, kids, personal ministry. So yeah, we had the football camp. And then later on that evening, we tentatively have a date with Brandon, AKA High Rise Mitchell. Brandon is a member of the Harlem Globetrotters. He's going into like his 7th or 8th year. And this connection is very awesome because the way we got connected to him, because I know you're asking, how are you getting a Harlem Globetrotter way in the middle of Mississippi? Actually, there was a young guy that volunteered at our camp last year, and he helped out. He was great, and he loved what he saw. So when he heard about the basketball camps, he was actually the plug that connected us with Brandon for the camp. So mid-April, him and I will sit down again. We've already confirmed that he will be here, but I'm trying to be very selective on the date because, yes, we only have about 20 slots. I may bump it up to about 40, but probably not just because of the space constraints we have. But in mid-April, their schedules are finalized for the year. So as of right now, June the 13th, that afternoon works great for him. But in the event that it does change, be prepared. And also, with that said, my wife, she usually likes to do a dance camp. My daughters have been doing crocheting camps. So there is a lot going on, but most importantly, without your prayer, your support. I don't just need prayers this time. I do need financial support. Please feel free to click the link in the description box below and donate. Anyway, guys, I thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. Also, be sure to listen to the Endzone Club podcast, which is available on all platforms that there are podcasts. Y'all have to forgive me, guys. I just want to have a good time. But we're out on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Music, just whatever. We're out there. Check in, interact, engage, all that stuff. But that's it. Anyway, thank you for your time.